Hey, I just got back from the Ontario Reptile and Plant Expo in Mississauga. One of my favorite events. I usually go a couple times a year. I haven't been for a few months now, so I was really happy I got to go, and I think I got some really cool stuff to show you. I've kind of been saving up for a little while, so I'll show you some plants I got today and then a few others that I got recently, including one that's kind of like, for me, a unicorn plant that I never ever see up for sale. So hopefully you enjoy this little haul. I will probably start in the order that I kind of purchased them, as I usually do. So first I have this lovely variegated truncata. I really like how nice and marbled the variegation is on this one. I'm not too worried about how tall it's growing. I think it'll take a bit of a nicer shape once I give it more light, but that's a very, very beautiful variegated Haworthia. If you've watched my full plant tour, I'm sure you've heard me talk about how much I love variegated Haworthias, and this one was like $30, which I thought was really, really reasonable. So that was a really nice find, in my opinion. The next one that I got, this is a little Suberosa, I believe. I've been looking, not specifically for this one, I would say, but I do like caudiciform plants in general, and I really like the base on this one, and it was also $30, which is a really reasonable price for these guys. So I thought I would try. Both of these little guys were from Plant It Succulent, who I've gotten really cool stuff from in the past. Plant It Succulent also has a booth with Mui Boutique. So I got these super cute little Lily of the Valley earrings with freshwater pearls, which I thought were so dainty and cute. And then I got a matching bracelet to go with it. Now, honestly, I think I would have preferred this in a necklace, so don't be surprised. I might add a little bit of chain and make it into a necklace, but they match and they're super, super cute. So that's my little jewelry haul. So these next two plants are from Tropiculture, which are close to where I am in London, Ontario. Their plants are always really, really nice quality. So this one I've been looking for a while. This is Anthurium antolakii, formerly known as Black Velvet Eastern Panama, but I believe it has been classified as its own species now. So I've been wanting this one for a while. They come up in hybridized forms often. I do really, really like the way that the hybrids look, but I try and get my hands on the species if I can, and hopefully one day even make my own hybrids. So this one was a little bit more pricey. This one was more like $200. But I was looking on their website before I came, and I kind of already had this one in mind that I wanted to get it. So I did have my budget, kind of included for this guy. So I'm very happy with him. I like how dark the foliage is, how pillowy the leaves get, the minimal veining, and this plant is actually a fairly decent size. So that is kind of a wish list plant, has been a wish list plant for a while. So we're very happy with him. This next one, so I actually picked this up for my mom. This is Weraquianum crossed with Cyrenoi. And that new leaf is actually beautifully dark. You can't tell as much on the older leaves how dark it is, but the newest one has like a really nice darkness and a really nice texture. I wanted this one kind of myself, but it wasn't in my budget. But I figured my mom would probably want it, so I just texted her a picture and she was like, yep. So I'm sure I'll get to split it with her eventually. You can see the stem there, and I see some roots in the pot, so it's well rooted too. I'm guessing from some of the browning on the leaves that this one will need pretty high humidity, even though it's a hybrid, but I'd imagine treating it like a aquarium will be the way to go. Anyways, I really actually like that guy a lot more than I thought. I don't think I would purchase it online, but seeing it in person was like, ooh, that's really nice. And this one was like $89, which is a very reasonable price for an anthurium that size and that nice. I didn't have like a ton of plants that I got this time. I did like set myself a budget and stick to it. So we don't necessarily have like a ton of plants, but the stuff we do have, I think is pretty cool. So these next ones are from Understory Enterprises, which is, often my go-to for terrarium plants. I was kind of going back and forth. There were more that I wanted. I feel like I was going around the tables and kind of deciding what I wanted, and I kind of went away to a different table that had some begonias that I had seen earlier, and then the ones I wanted were already gone. And then I came back to Understory Enterprises, and again, some that I had seen were already gone, but honestly, that's okay. Like, that kind of takes the decision out of my hands. So in a way, it's good. I got some cool plants anyways. So this is a very beautiful fern. I love the distinct shape to the foliage. It actually reminds me a bit of a maidenhair fern, but this one is much more diminutive and suitable for a terrarium. So it is Asplenum af holophlebum Santana, Peru. So that is one that I haven't seen before. Wasn't on my wish list or anything, but I really, really love the texture. I think I've been pretty successful growing Asplenium ferns as well, so I think it will do well. Oh, and that one was $20 for that guy. Here we have another little epiphytic fern. This one is Microgramma af ciliata, Ecuador. This one kind of reminds me of, there's one called Reptins, which is kind of a similar leaf style, except these leaves are very teat and just tiny. And I don't think I have any ferns like that are so tiny. So that is really adorable. And this one wasn't expensive either. It was $15. So that will make a very nice little addition to my vivarium. This next one is a repurchase of a plant that I had before, and unfortunately it didn't really survive well in my previous vivarium, but my Markgravias are doing really well now in my new vivarium I have set up. So I'm hopeful that this will do well now in this new setup. This is Markgravia White Line, and it has really, again, diminutive foliage. Markgravias kind of come in all shapes and sizes, and they're really beautiful shingling plants. They're probably one of my favorite genera for terrariums and vivariums. I'm, excited to see that guy grow up in my tank. So believe it or not, those are actually the only plants I got from the expo this time. But I did get some isopods that I'm really excited about, and part of my budget got taken up by isopods. So that also might be why there's not as many plants today. There were a few plants I was semi-looking for. I was hoping there would be some Huperitzias there. I really only saw one, and it wasn't looking like super healthy. So I ended up passing on that one. I tried not to buy like every cool thing that I saw. There was like a lot of cool stuff there. So it was a challenge. But I'm going to show you my wonderful little isopods that I got, and really, really hope that you can see them. So in here, it's a little hard to see, but that little guy or girl is a rubber ducky isopod. I have wanted rubber duckies for a long time now, so I am super excited to finally have some. I've actually gone to expos in the past hoping to get some, and there were like none available. When they do come up, they sometimes sell out really quickly. And if you don't know, anything about isopods. Rubber ducky isopods are called that because their faces kind of look like rubber ducks. And because they're so cute and a lot of people like them and they take a while to breed, they are kind of expensive. They're like $10 an isopod. And I think this is a culture of at least 12. Yeah, one of the more pricey items that I bought actually was isopods, but I've wanted them for a long time. And if you want to see me set up like an isopod terrarium, let me know. I can definitely do that. But I'm very excited about these guys. I also got some Gestroy isopods. So if you watched my pets video, I might have said that I wanted to get more of these because I only had one left at the time. So I was able to find some and they were a good price. They get larger than this. They're quite a large isopod. You can kind of see them running around, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, it's hard to tip the substrate without it all falling out. They are a really, really nice, like active isopod, I find. Really, really fun. Good for like I'd say like a step up from a beginner isopod. And there's a whole bunch in there. So I am really excited about those guys as well because I was a little sad that my first culture didn't do well. That's it for my Plant Expo haul, but I did get a few other plants earlier this month that I want to show you. So I got a few from WePot Plants. This one is a Forgetii hybrid. I already transferred them to self-watering. The new leaf isn't looking amazing, but that is okay. You know, imported plants are often like that. It'll look good once it has new leaves coming and the root system is good, which is what we care about the most. So this is a Forgetii, I think crossed with some sort of papilliluminum hybrid. My Forgetii, I think, is totally dead, unfortunately. So I am really interested to get like some sort of Forgetii, and this one's, it has the really nice closed sinus, which is what I was looking for. And some of the others that Heather had on her site that were the same hybrid but didn't have the closed sinus were really, really nice and dark. So I'm hoping when I get some new bigger leaves on this guy and he matures, that his leaves will be nice and dark as well. Basically, I think he has a lot of potential, even if he doesn't look like it right now. This is a nice hybrid that Heather sent along as a freebie with my order. I did get a few plants. Some were for my mom, so she's already taken them, so unfortunately you won't get to see those. I did share them on Patreon if you know you're interested in that. But this one has a lot of potential too, I think. I like the simple veining. It's pretty dark for the size. It's like nice and long, so we like that. She's really cute. Now, this next one is really special because it's one that's been on my wish list. And my mom and I basically went in on a cutting together that was quite expensive. And we've been waiting for it to grow and get big enough where we can divide it. So it finally has gotten to that point. It actually grew another new pup from the stump that it was on. So here we have Anthurium Ace of Spades, and this is the Tazula dark form. And it is truly dark. The stem is almost black. And I feel like you can tell just with the sheen that something is different about it. It will get even darker once the leaves are mature. This is like the first leaf from a new growth point, essentially. But that is just phenomenal, in my opinion. So I've waited for this one for a long, long time. It's very special. If you don't know, the Tazula dark form, so Tazula is an anthurium breeder producer in the States, I believe. This is a clone that they created just from selecting plants. But I think they've listed on their website that only like 10% or less of the Ace of Spades that they produce have this dark trait. Even if you buy a seedling, or sometimes resellers, if you don't get them directly from Tazula, will say, oh yeah, it's a dark form. But unless you let it grow up, you don't actually know whether it's dark form or not, because a lot of the babies, even if they come from a dark form parent, won't be dark form themselves. So you have to be careful with this one. Anyways, this is definitely the real deal. It's a division from a plant. I know exactly what the mature one looks like. So we know that she's gonna be good. So this is super, super special, almost unicorn level, I'd say, because this is the legit thing. Okay, last plant, and this one is maybe the most special out of all of them. Well, probably definitely the most special. This is probably why I didn't get as many plants at the Expo today, is because I spent a good chunk of my budget on this one. So this is from Signature Tropicals. Evelyn has some really, really cool and unique plants if you want to check her out. So this beautiful plant, look at that. Do you know what that is? This is Thaumatophyllum sprucianum variegated. It used to be called Philodendron goldii. It is not a philodendron, it's actually a Thaumatophyllum. I have had this plant, I wouldn't say I've been like actively looking for it, but I've always liked Thaumatophyllum sprucianum. I used to have a non-variegated one, and once I came across that there were variegated ones out there, I was like, that's the one. Like, I need the variegated version. But I've never seen them for sale. I've literally never ever seen one for sale in Canada. So when Evelyn posted this one, and it's a nice size, it has really nice balanced variegation. It's not all, some leaflets are green and some leaflets are yellow. You actually have some marbling there. And it was within my budget at the time. I kind of knew like I needed to get it. So this was like $300 something, just so we have like an idea of price ranges here. Like, I'm all about being open and transparent with pricing. So this is definitely a unicorn plant for me, and I think for how hard it is to source, that is a pretty reasonable price. And the leaves are just so stunning. This is shipping damage, which, I mean, for a variegated plant, I totally expect. I'm not worried about that at all. What's really cool about these plants is the way that they grow these kind of leaflets. And as the plant gets more mature, it'll just keep extending and almost like forming a spiral of leaves. So I think that unique shape and growth pattern combined with the variegation makes it really, really special. It also doesn't need a pole, which is kind of important to me right now. I'm not so much into climbing philodendrons. It kind of just keeps growing from the base, and the nodes are very, very tight. It has long petioles, but the nodes are tight. The petioles are long enough that you could actually just put it kind of on the ground underneath a window and let it like grow up and get the sunlight that it needs without having to do too much in the way of staking it or giving it a pole to climb or whatever. So this plant I'm super excited about. I'm excited about all the plants that I got. I'm very content with these purchases. But yeah, this one is really special. So I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of a shorter haul, but you know, it's okay to be mindful with your purchases and not buy everything. I could have just had one plant on this haul and that would still be good, but that wouldn't really make it worth it to do a video. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you listening to me ramble and show off the plants that I love. If you want to support me, you can always check out Patreon and engage with this video. But even just by watching, you're really enabling me to buy more plants in the future and do more videos. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.